Hey guys, Dr. Lauren here. Super pumped to be with you today to talk about one of my favorite topics, getting to the root causes of your greatest health challenges, be it gut issues, hormone imbalances, energy issues. We're going to cover it all and talk about 7 healthy habits that may be wrecking your gut hormones metabolism. I know a lot of these type of videos and trainings can be long and boring, and that is definitely not the intention of what we're about to unpack. So I encourage you to stick with us till the very end because you are going to want to buckle up your seatbelt. These are perhaps some lessons or insights that at least conventional care and many in the holistic space probably have not told you before. So the big question is, how do you 2x your energy, reset your gut and hormones, and get to the root cause in just 3 days? Like, get real. Without crazy diets or band-aids for symptoms, let's chat about it. First off, who is going to benefit from this training? Number one, if you're doing all the things to be healthy, but seemingly nothing is working, you've already tried all sorts of different diets, you're working out, you're trying to get good sleep, but it's not working, you're going to want to stay around. You have a history of trying different diets or a funky relationship with food. So I've definitely been there, got the t-shirt for almost 20 years of my life. So we are going to unpack that for you. If you have gut issues, hormone imbalances, low energy, autoimmune issues, perhaps even some undiagnosed autoimmunity. So that would go back to you're doing all the things to be healthy, but it's not working. There may be something under the hood there. Or disordered eating. This is for you. And lastly, you're ready to feel amazing, not just okay. Baseline is boring, and just know you are made for more. And so I'm all about helping individuals bust past that baseline of just treading water, trying to get your head above water to reach your optimal potential. So, little backstory. Who is this girl chatting with you? That was me. This was actually in 2018, so not that long ago, and kind of on the tail end of a lot of the journey that I had been in for over 20 years and really feeling that nothing helps. So IBS, bloating and constipation, history of disordered eating that was very extensive that started when I was like 9 years old, no period, thyroid problems, Lyme disease, toxic mold illness I had just been diagnosed with, autoimmune disease, adrenal fatigue, really you name it, low self-confidence, 24/7 thoughts about food and just like a fly trying to swat that away, and anxiety. So I was doing all the things, drinking celery juice, which was really popular at the time, taking probiotics, definitely working out. I love moving my body, but still was in that depleted state, not feeling great. Fast forward today, who is this girl, happy, healthy, free? So today, experiencing zero bloating and constipation. That IBS is just out the window. Doubled my energy. The answers to the root causes, autoimmune remission, hormone balance, body love and food freedom, that's very genuine, intuitive eating, and living out of that intuitiveness, peace of mind, confidence, and happy, healthy, free again. So how and did I get there? Hi, I'm Dr. Lauren, as I mentioned. I'm a former chronic eating disorder patient and TV news journalist, gone functional medicine expert, and what I like to call myself a health detective. Here to help you write a new story for your body, mind, and your life. So a little bit of backstory. This was me 6 years old. Gut issues galore. So for as long as I could remember, I had bloating and constipation. The IBS paradigm was definitely present as well. My doctor prescribed me Fiber One cereal instead of Lucky Charms for breakfast, and I would drink prune juice every night after dinner for dessert. And do you remember your first most embarrassing moment? Mine happened when I let one rip in front of my crush. It was so embarrassing and just really left me feeling very ashamed of my body and at war with my body from a young age. So fast forward, this was my 10-year-old birthday party. So just from 9 to 10, I was feeling insecure around this time in my life. So I just want to fit in, as I mentioned. If you can tell, I'm here in the third on the top in the row. We had gone to get our manicures. My mom took us to like a local beauty school. And I was a popular kid in quotes. Like I hung out with some of the popular kids. I hung out with all the kids. I just loved people and had a very kind heart. I had a very hard time being a mean girl if I needed to be completely in the clan. But I was on the outskirts and definitely rolled with those girls. I was feeling insecure, though, around this time as well. I was a smart kid in that, like, I just tried to work hard and do my work. A lot of my friends and peers called me a teacher's pet. And, of course, there was just the insecurities around what my body looked like and frizzy hair. I had a super big crush, too, on this guy named Eric Arthur. And I just remember, like, really liking him. And he liked the queen bee, and that queen bee is the girl that I wanted to be. So fast forward to fourth grade recess, a few months later after my 10-year-old birthday, and that is the day that changed everything. And if you can imagine, you're 10 years old, a pink frizzy bow, or pink bow in your frizzy hair that your mom made you wear, and all you want to do is fit in. And the popular girls that day invited me to join their gossip circle, where we were talking about Eric Arthur's cute freckly face and gossiping over Melanie Strawn's ugly sweater. And then the topic of weight came up. And the queen bee said, "Oh my gosh, you guys, I weighed myself last night and I'm 69 pounds. I'm so fat." Then turning to each of you, what do you weigh? And one by one, we had to go around the gossip circle and report to the queen bee. At a healthy 80 pounds, I was by no means a fat kid, but when the circle got to me, I gulped and I lied. And I said, "I don't know." And then going home that day, I just remember standing in the pantry thinking I just want to be good enough. And I turned over a Dorito snack pack and learning a whole new language, which is fat grams and calories. And at age 10, my life path just took a really sharp turn. And little did I realize I'd spend the next 20 years trying to find solutions to feeling good in my own skin with no resolve. And I want to ask you, do any of these diet culture solutions sound familiar? So number one solution in that great diet culture trap, what I call it, is the move more, eat less solution. So I became obsessed with counting calories and working them off twice as fast. I was the inventor of this diet called the fasting diet until the day I passed out in the shower. And then it was on to vegan, vegetarian, South Beach, Atkins, really whatever was popular at the time. I could have won the gold in the Stairmaster Olympics. And my dog Bentley gained like 10 pounds in spaghetti and meatball weight that I sneakily threw on the floor. This kind of behaviors and habits went on for many months until my loving parents and doctors caught on. Then it was on to solution number 2, which I call conventional medicine, conventional treatment, conventional wisdom. And I saw over 100 different doctors and specialists over the course of the 15 years that I really struggled with that eating disorder specifically, and spent an accumulated 4 years of my life living behind bars. So in inpatient treatment centers and in hospitals. My parents remortgaged their house twice, and just in order to try to cover all my healthcare expenses that just surmounted millions of dollars, and just to keep me alive, all uninsured. I was also prescribed the typical treatments in treatment, which would be the 3 Ps I've coined: Pop-Tarts, pizza, and Prozac. And a lot of my symptoms for anorexia were treated just like a person that may be like overweight, move more and eat less, right? That's the prescription. Or a person with chronic disease, like just take a pill for an ill. So my symptoms were treated with what made the most sense for weight gain and food freedom. There was the Pop-Tart epiphany, the day like 4 Pop-Tarts showed up on my hospital tray and having to eat them on one setting. There was Egg McMuffin Fridays, where we were served Egg McMuffins every Friday morning and told they were not Egg McMuffins until the day I saw them taking the package, them out of that McDonald's package. And there was Operation Twinkie, the day I showed up to my first inpatient treatment center and had one of 2 choices: a ding dong or Twinkie. Which would you choose? And just kind of spent a lot of those years trying to survive, as well as just wondering, like, is this what this is all about? Just mitigating my symptoms in order to get better. Then I was on to solution number 3, clean eating and Dr. Google. So by age 29, I joined the over 60% of Americans that have at least one chronic illness. And both my dieting days from my eating disorder and conventional treatment wrecked my gut, which was connected to all sorts of health issues, of which I mentioned initially. So a lot of autoimmune conditions, continued gut symptomology, hormone imbalances, thyroid issues, low energy, just you name it. The Lyme and mold illness really just came up to the surface. And I was doing all the things around this time. So the keto, carnivore, vegan, I really tried them all, the popular fad diets nowadays. Supplement pharmacy. So I had so many supplements in my cabinet, and call it DIY biohacking. So I was listening to the podcast and searching answers on Dr. Google. I think I had everything was checked in purple because I had read every single article on a variety of conditions and how to heal, and just really wasn't getting answers or solutions. I wanted to talk to you guys about 7 daily, I call them health habits, that are actually wrecking your gut, hormones, and your metabolism. And these were habits that I thought I was doing my body favors, but not so much. Habit number 1 is just cutting the carbs or meat completely. And so there is a time and a place for therapeutic diets, as we would call them. And there are 3 specific popular therapeutic diets right now, which cut out a complete food group altogether. And that would be the keto, carnivore, and vegan. I mean, pick your poison there. And it can be, again, therapeutic in nature. But when we cut out any one food group for a very long time, it's kind of like a plant that doesn't get one of its essential nutrients. So what does a plant need to thrive? It needs water, sunshine, and rich soil. And if you take a plant out and grow it in, say, like manure, is that plant going to grow optimally? Or if it's going to be in like a garbage dump, is it going to grow optimally? If you strip the sun and it's just like pounded by rain, storm after rainstorm, it never gets that sunshine. What's going to happen to the plant? And then similarly, if you don't water it at all and it goes through a drought, same thing. And so the way that carbs, proteins, and fats work in our body is to help us run optimally and efficiently. And each micronutrient and macronutrient actually has a time and place and space. So for example, when we eat protein, it actually is the most potent ingredient or macronutrient to stimulate stomach acid and digestion. So if we are stripped of that macronutrient for a while, we can tend towards more bloating or constipation down the road because our digestive superpowers, fire, is not being activated as it could be. Similarly, if we strip carbs out of our diet and the body tries to make carbs from like the chicken breast you're eating or from the butter you're eating, like, yes, it can create energy. However, it's not the most direct source of energy. Carbs actually are. And so fatigue is oftentimes common, as is some digestive issues, because like with like the keto diet movement, for example, where high fat diets are really popular. Fat is a great thing. I'm really happy the low fat diet movement has like had its day. Definitely did that. But if we're like eating so much fat and no carb, we can have some gallbladder congestion that occurs because your gallbladder is what breaks down fat. And so if your gallbladder is being like, that's the primary nutrient we're eating, and it's being just demanded to produce more bile and enzymes to break down that fat, we can sometimes get some gallbladder congestion and or bowel irregularities. I know when I personally went on a high-fat, no-carb diet, I was going to the bathroom a lot, and it's because those fats were stimulating my gallbladder to release, and I just didn't have that fiber to also help slow digestion down, etc. So that would be habit number 1. Healthy habit number 2 would be drinking coffee before water. So coffee is a very touchy subject, and I think in a moderation, coffee can be a great thing. It actually does stimulate your gallbladder to produce enzymes. It's a natural digestive bitter, believe it or not. A good quality coffee, that is. Being a coffee snob, I highly recommend. But when we're drinking coffee before water, coffee is a diuretic, so we are already dehydrating ourselves. We're starting out of the gate in the morning with a low bit of hydration for our lymphatic system, for our brain, for our digestion for the day. And water is just an essential nutrient. It's the number one macronutrient that we can consume, because we can go, say, 3 weeks without food, I think is the statistic, only 3 days without water. And so all life is formed in water too. If you can think about being in your mom's womb, you needed water. And so water is going to help, just like the Nile River of your body, to help things flow digestively, energetically, brain-wise, etc. And so I oftentimes recommend getting at least half your body weight in ounces of water, of a good, clean, pure water, and drinking that at least 16 to 20 ounces before coffee in order to really start the day with your best foot forward. Healthy habit number 3 would be fasting, ... and then under eating or binging. And so intermittent fasting is very popular right now, and it can be a really great way to just allow the body to rest and digest overnight. Actually, you've been intermittent fasting your whole life. If you eat dinner and then you break your fast in the morning, that's intermittent fasting for your body. Your body took some time off of eating. So it's not as perhaps like dialed in or like specific, or that we've made it to be like your body's naturally fasting. What I see in clinical practice is sometimes where it gets sticky for folks, aside from time and like just becoming obsessed around time and letting that just really drive rules for yourself, etc., and eating more on a clock versus listening to your body. I see under eating can occur, so if we're cutting out a complete meal daily, that we're already just like one meal down. So 2 meals, perhaps not getting the energy and the nourishment that your body really needs to have a thriving metabolism, because a metabolism is going to thrive with more nutrients, as is a healthy gut. So when we're not eating a variety of nutrients or enough, our gut becomes like a famine is happening inside. And so gut bugs can get diminished out, and we need a healthy gut microbiome, and we need plenty of gut bacteria for not only healthy digestion, but for hormone balance, for immune function, for metabolism, and we'll get more into that here shortly. On the flip side, fasting can also lead to binging, and so just overeating at nighttime and saving up like for the day, earning your food. Habit number 4 would be eating chicken and broccoli ... on repeat. And so eating the same meals every single day is not going to create a healthy gut ecosphere, because a healthy gut microbiome needs a variety of nutrients. And the reason why a healthy microbiome, again, matters is because it affects your hormones, it affects your metabolism, it affects your mental cognitive function, and just how you feel in a given day. Healthy habit number 5 would be running every single day. So especially with like high intensity or long duration. So I'm all about movement for myself and for my clients. But when we're running every single day or doing just a lot of high intensity movement, we can stress our body out more, stress our metabolism out more, and stress our hormones out more, as well as our gut. So constipation and bloating, there you go. Habit number 6 would be starting your morning routine buried in Instagram. And so that would be just like that constant comparison that we're doing. My heart already beats fast just thinking about that, and kind of like feeling like not good enough from the start of the day, and letting the day happen to you versus you happening to the day. And that is not ideal for our stress. Lastly, healthy habit number 7 would be clean eating 110% of the time. And so not having balance with yourself, and really big on 80-20 balance. And when we are overly stressed around food, it's going to affect how we feel. We'll talk about that here shortly. So all of this, a lot of my health journey came to a head, my initial health journey at 23 years old, when I first had at least my light bulb moment. And I was 79 pounds, shortness of breath, chest pains, and just constipation, gut pains, and just feeling completely stuck. And I'll never remember the morning before my second year of grad school. I was living in Nashville, stepping on the scale and seeing a number I had not seen since I was that 10-year-old girl, and everything flashing back to that 4th grade recess day. And on my way to the gym that morning, praying, God, help me make a change today. And to me, a change meant maybe a tablespoon of almond butter more, or 30 minutes less on my Stairmaster. But the big man upstairs had different plans. To say the least, I didn't make it to my workout. not one, but 8 other individuals, and some of them are pictured here, approached me in the parking lot as I was about to go into the YMCA at 5 a.m. And these were 8 other gym goers I had just seen all that past year. They did not know me from Adam. They did not know anything about my story, but they did see a girl that was slowly killing herself on the Stairmaster every day. And they stepped in and spoke up and said they wanted to help. And they said that they had called Vanderbilt Hospital and that Vanderbilt Hospital could see me. And I just heard that word hospital and thought, no way. I definitely don't want to go there. I know what that means. But within 48 hours, I was in the ICU with a heart rate in the 30s and doctors saying I may not make it. And honestly, without my YMCA angels stepping in and speaking up, I would not be where I'm at today and really helping. They trusted their gut intuition, so then I could trust mine. And that's actually when I had this light bulb moment. And I call it the total gut reset. And so health is an inside job, and we're going to unpack what that means a bit more here. But really, when we fix and go with our gut and learn how to trust our gut, everything's going to fall into place. And that was definitely my case, even though I would eventually struggle with some of those post-recovery issues, what happens to your body after an eating disorder. With this light bulb moment, this is really what gave me the background and the catalyst to dig deeper and to understand, like, it's not about doctoring the symptoms or just dealing with my symptomology, that health is an inside job again. And when you learn to trust your gut and go with your gut, everything is going to fall into place. All disease actually begins in the gut. Hippocrates said it, not me. Although I believe all wellness begins in the gut. So number one, a fact about the gut, metabolism connection. Your gut determines if you gain or you lose weight. In studies where they give mice bacteria from a lean and an obese twin, what happens to the mouse and the mice? One mouse loses weight, and then another mouse right here, this mouse lost weight and this mouse gained weight. No change in diet or exercise at all. Your gut is also your second brain. So you have 500 million neurons, and over 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut, which is your feel-good brain chemicals. The gut and the brain are directly connected by a nerve called the vagus nerve 2, speaking like a walkie-talkie all day long. Hormone balance is directed in the gut, so a healthy microbiome is going to help regulate your hormones, especially like your estrogens, testosterone, your thyroid hormones. Your gut is what helps clear out excess hormones that happens in your liver. And through your gut, most estrogen will exit the body. However, in an unhealthy microbiome or liver, which is part of the gut digestion, if we're unable to break down estrogens or other hormones, then some estrogen, for example, will exit the body. So we can develop what is called like estrogen dominance or hormone imbalances. This is also, even happening for men. If you know men with like men boobs, moobs, that would be because they have excess estrogen, for example, or if you have horrible PMS, or if you're not getting your cycle, or if you have PCOS, a lot of times it's because your hormones are not being balanced in the gut. Your gut also controls your cravings. So your gut is going to tell you if it wants a cookie or if it likes broccoli and Brussels sprouts. If it doesn't like those things, your gut microbiome really does dictate your taste and your taste buds. And a lot of times that's just a byproduct of actually what we've been eating our whole lives. So if you grew up on processed foods and sugar, you may tend towards those. If you grew up in a culture where you ate rice and chicken and vegetables, that is going to be like what your cultural diet is and what you like. So we can cultivate and we can change our gut microbiome. But when we get cravings for things, a lot of times that's coming from your gut microbiome. And your immune system, so 70 to 80% of your immune system is produced and housed in your gut. And so if you don't have a healthy gut, you're not going to be as resilient to disease of all sorts, and not just like flus and colds or viruses, but also things like autoimmunity to skin issues, like your skin is your largest immune organ, and then allergies, asthma, you name it. So what does a total gut reset look like in real life then, if the gut's connected to all these things? And just giving you just a visual example here of like poor gut here and like a healthier gut and a happier gut here. Do you have a healthy gut? And first we'll start there. So 3 out of 4 people actually do not have a healthy gut. In fact, most humans have 5 to 15 pounds of toxic poo inside of them at any time. 98% of chronic dieters and disordered eaters also will develop FGD, which is a functional gut disorder. So if you have a history of chronic dieting in your life and or like an eating disorder where your gut was just really disheveled, whether it's like anorexia, binge purging, even orthorexia, and just like really depriving your body of essential needs, then functional gut disorders can be a byproduct. So things like constipation, bloating, IBS. However, the good news is, as we're talking about a total gut reset, it only takes 3 days to start changing your gut. But don't just take my word for it. I'll give you some examples from some of my clients. So Katie, she told me I lost 20 pounds without trying. This was about a month and a half in, 6 weeks into us talking. And we hadn't really been talking too much about weight because we were working on other things. She had some Hashimoto's that we were getting to the bottom of, thyroid issues. She had some eczema on her skin. She just wanted to learn how to eat well for her body. So weight was definitely on the radar, and it was just also a byproduct of some of the work we were doing. So it was just really cool to see how when we focus more on the inside, health is an inside job, less on the outside, how she saw results without trying. Elle, one of my dearest teen clients, she had a lifetime history of disordered eating. She grew up in a family where it was just kind of modeled to her, and tons of anxiety and depression as a kid as well. And she was 15 when I started working with her. Today she's 17. And she went from just a disordered eating lifestyle to dropping her first cover song. She's an aspiring artist, so watch out, Taylor Swift, here she comes, and getting to just pursue her dreams now. And Catherine, my energy, Catherine. Catherine came to me so depleted. She was a mom of 4 kids, so there you go, not even sleeping much, and was just running on coffee, getting like sugar cravings or just sweet cravings, not even overt sugar, just eating a lot of fruit during the day and trying to just eat clean. I think she had adopted a vegetarian lifestyle and she grew a garden, but like was depleted energy wise for the life of her. And when we did a total gut reset with her and integrated in just some balance through her gut, through her diet and her lifestyle, she literally does not need coffee today. She said her energy is doubled, and she also lost the bloat. She was dealing with some bloat and SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, just some gut issues causing a lot of her digestive distress that we got to the root of. So, and the best part is healing doesn't have to take years. So Tiffany came to me. She had a history of like all the chronic illnesses, like Lyme disease, and she had some antibiotic exposure that had really wrecked her body. Just left her depleted, and with mast cell activation syndrome is what she developed, like her immune system just going haywire, Lyme disease, etc. She was intolerant to everything, and then her gut just was a wreck. So constipation, going maybe every 3 days, and just 60 minutes of some of the guided work that I did with her and helping retrain the brain gut connection in our program together. Like literally in 60 minutes. Food intolerances were gone. And so she let me know the next week, was Thanksgiving the next week, that she was able to eat foods that she had not eaten in years. And her body was just not reacting like it had been to even the environment she was in. So she could go in buildings again and not be so reactive to the mold in the environment in the building. So that was a really cool. And then Kate, like 3 hours resolved 10 years of her orthorexia, acne, and her bloating. And just again, doing some of the guided work that we did and retraining the brain gut connection, which is part of the work that I do with clients. 10 years of her orthorexia gone, her just like more peace and food freedom that she experienced, just clearing out some of the things she was holding on to, rules and beliefs, as well as her acne and bloating went away. And yeah, it was just a really cool story. So how does it work? I'm all about little dial turners. If you work with me for longer than 5 minutes, you'll learn it's just about the little things. It's not like huge changes that we make in our lives that can make a big difference. So ways that I really help and how it works and helping you turn those dials. When you join and partner with someone like myself, a functional medicine practitioner, really, you're working with someone who gets it. And for me in my practice, I'm healed to heal others. And I've been there, got the t-shirt for now over 25 years with personal and clinical experience, really facing so many chronic illnesses that doctors really could not solve for me. I'm all about addressing the root cause too. So how a total gut reset works is getting to the root cause. We can accomplish that some with lab testing. So you see a variety of whether it's blood work, hormone testing, stool testing, as well as just guided home assessments. I'm all about helping individuals become more intuitive with their body and what it needs and learning how to listen to those cues. So I've created my own core 6 lab tests that I'll do at home type of testing with patients, where we're getting to know what are your blood sugar, what's happening there when you eat certain foods, what is your food intolerance response to certain foods, etc. And then customize nutrition and supplements for your body with 80-20 balance, of course. So I'm not big into cookie cutter. Your body is not the same as your best friend, as your mom, as the woman on the street, at the grocery store, wherever. So I'm all about customization and guiding you on how to figure out what your body is saying and what it needs, all with 80-20 balance. So no perfection. I'm also not big on restrictive diets, if you can imagine. And then your question's answered. I like to say, ask Dr. Lauren instead of asking Dr. Google. And I am the ultimate health detective for my patients and teaching you how to be your own health detective. A lot of what you read on Google, too, is really also, unfortunately, not always accurate. And there is a lot of SEO that goes into it and money that goes into the articles that are appearing a lot of times on that top page. So just buyer beware, reader beware. And then lastly, I mentioned it, quick breakthrough. I'm all about quick breakthrough. Healing, again, does not have to take 20 plus years. I recently was speaking with someone on the phone and they said they'd been in therapy 10 years for their life. And I get it. I was in therapy so much of my life. And a lot of this total gut reset work that I do now is all about quick results and just helping people not just get back to baseline, but bust past baseline. This is because the subconscious mind runs your body. 95% of your thoughts are subconscious. I'll say that again. Your subconscious mind runs your body, your physiology, and 95% of our thoughts are subconscious. If we also think about that brain-gut connection and how much the gut impacts everything, our mind affects the gut and vice versa. The gut is going to impact the mind. And so it's going to impact our thoughts and how the body and the physiology is playing out if our mind or our gut are out of sync. So your mind influences your outcomes. Why does this matter? Your brain is connected to your gut. If I didn't mention that already, there you go. If you've ever experienced butterflies in your stomach, you know what that means. Interestingly, 80% of your thoughts actually come from your gut. So that if your gut is out of balance, if you have a microbiome that's not been well fed or nourished, or you have pathogenic kind of bacteria in the body, you are going to be more susceptible to anxiety, or you're going to be more susceptible to perhaps negative thinking, or just not feeling good. I don't know if you've ever felt like you've had a tummy ache or anything like that, where all you can think about is how you feel. And similarly, if you've ever been hungry, you oftentimes can only think about feeding your gut. So gut stress will affect your brain stress. The tummy ache example. If you're feeling a tummy ache, you're going to feel it in your brain. And that's just an overt example that you've seen. And then similarly, brain stress is going to affect your gut. So butterflies in your stomach, that feeling is generated from our thoughts, and how you're feeling, it shows up in your physiology. I like to oftentimes educate folks dis-ease or stress in our lives shows up as disease or stress in the body. Exhibit A, bacon intolerance. Brenda had a bacon intolerance, and she could not figure out for the life of her, because she had been able to eat bacon most of her life. When she did the work with the model that I teach, the total gut reset process, we figured out that her bacon intolerance actually developed when she found out her husband was having an affair on her. She was cooking bacon at the time. And so that showed up in her body. And as we kind of did some of the work around that and understanding the awareness was developed and clearing that from her brain and from her limbic system, just through some guided exercises I gave her, she can eat bacon again. Similarly, there's the milkshake study. Ever heard of it? In it, they gave 2 groups of individuals a milkshake. One group got a Sensa shake, a 140 calorie shake, think about like a Slim Fast. And then the other group got an indulgent shake, a 600 calorie milkshake. The researchers wanted to see what happened to their metabolisms when they drank these. In actuality, both groups got the same exact milkshake, a 300 calorie milkshake. What do you think happened? At the end of the study, the indulgent shake people felt more nourished and they felt satisfied. Their hunger hormones went down and they just felt like they could go about their day. They enjoyed the treat. Whereas the Sensa shake people, on the other hand, their metabolisms plummeted. They felt deprived. They felt super stressed. They felt more hungry, and their metabolism, I think, slowed down by, I want to say like 3 times. Their hunger cues went up by 3 times at least. And this just all was being generated from the brain. Your brain-gut connection changes everything, more than exercise or diets do. So let's do an exercise around how your brain works. A quick exercise here. So I call it a swish pattern, and it's all about changing your mind. So first, I want you to create a really vivid picture in your mind of something you don't want. And I want you to make it big and bright. It may be something to do with your health. It may be something to do with a boss that you don't want to let get to you like it does. It may be to do with like a feeling that you have of an old relationship that you would love to get rid of. It may be like your love for lots of cookies and not being able to have quote unquote self-control with them. Create a vivid picture in your mind of something you don't want and make it really big and bright. You can close your eyes to visualize this and really see it, hear it, smell it, taste it. Try to get some good visual and sensory stimulation with that. Okay. Next, I want you to create a vivid picture of what you do want to replace it with, making it small and dull. So, for example, if you see like these insatiable cravings for cookies or ice cream every single night, maybe you would love instead to be able to have some like herbal tea and do a green face mask and go to bed early. Maybe that's your visual that you see. Perhaps it's a relationship that you see like you just don't want to be holding on to it as much, and you see yourself, what you do want is being confident and happy, healthy, free, and being in a relationship with someone that actually does value you. Whatever it is, I want you to create a vivid picture of what you want, see it, visualize it, sense it, and replace this this current habit with. And I want you to make that picture, though, that you want small and dull. You can even put it here in your like lower left-hand corner. You see it. You see that it could be possible, but right now it's small and dull. You see what you want. Okay. Now you're going to reverse them. Bring the image of what you want into the foreground, making it brighter and brighter. Add triumphant music and motion if you need to. So do you see like it was in the lower left-hand corner? Bring it up here. We call it on the screen. And seeing it big and bright and adding that triumphant music and motion, whatever it needs to be able to see and visualize that in your mind of what you want. So you see yourself drinking the tea. You see yourself in that relationship and being so confident, being the one that got away. Throw the image that you don't want into the background, turning it into gray and colorless. And should do a switch pattern, you could repeat this reversal 3 to 5 times. So what you want, you can see that in the lower left hand. And then when you want to bring that into that bigger bright, bring it onto the screen and throw the other one behind you. And to just visualize that in your mind, keep swishing it out. You'll train your brain to amplify positives and weaken negatives. Keep in mind, what we focus on expands. So Olivia was a patient of mine, similarly had like been struggling for so many years with gut issues as well as disordered eating. And through some of the work that we did around the brain gut connection, as well as just helping her with healing her gut, changing her brain, she went from chronic dieting to food freedom, and just really cool to see that evolution. Janine, SIBO, Hashimoto's, fatigue, gone. And initially she came to me with just wanting to do the work around, give me the diet, give me the supplements. And when she discovered like how much her gut health affected all these other things, and we discovered that she had SIBO, which is an overgrowth of bacteria in her gut, through some testing, we were able to send the Hashimoto's and fatigue into reversal. I did have Olivia on a former slide as well. I mean, Phoebe on a former slide, and Phoebe, similar to Olivia, has struggled with eating disorders most of her life, IBS most of her life, bloating. Her metabolism had slowed down from just her history of just chronic dieting and binge eating, purging, etc. And when we healed her gut and we treated her for dysbiosis, gut imbalances, with some supplements, nutrition, and lifestyle factors, she too has said goodbye to that former way of life. So the way I see it now is you have one of two options. Option number one is to keep doing what you're doing, trying a new cookie cutter diet strategy every few months or weeks, buying random supplements on Amazon that sit in your cabinet for years, seeing doctors who use medicine to suppress your symptoms or tell you if it's all in your head, trying to use insurance to cover healthcare when they're in the business of sick care, or listening to podcasts and consulting Google for answers, and piecemealing your team together. So here's just a breakdown of what you could spend over the course of a month's time for just a variety of answers to your health issues. So $500 to $1,000 just one time to see a functional medicine doctor. So if you're just seeing a one-off and not really diving into the weeds with them, there you go. $1,000 to $2,000 a month on nutritionists. I have a nutritionist friends that are charging, $5,000 to $8,000 a month in their just a nutrition-based program. They don't really have the background as a functional medicine practitioner or as also a lot of the mindset work and therapy background. $1,000 to $1,500 on personal trainer, $200 a month average at like a gym or studio, $200 a month on supplements, $500 to $1,000 a month on therapy. If you're staying in therapy for years, there you go. That's at least $5,000 a month. So you do the math over the course of the year, $50,000, $60,000. And still wondering what is going on. You're pretty siloed and just trying to piecemeal your team together there. Feeling frustrated, alone, overwhelmed, and stuck. I get it, been there. Or option number two is a total gut reset. So high touch support and community, number one, not going it alone and not feeling like you're sifting through the weeds or just it's you and one off with a practitioner. There's strength in numbers for sure. And that's why movements like, say, the CrossFit movement is so popular, or Weight Watchers Dynasty is so popular. Like, why are these programs effective? And it's not about necessarily the workout or the diet, it's the community. Root cause digging. So getting to the root causes through lab testing that are and assessments that help you become more intuitive with your body. Sustainable nutrition and supplement plans. So not just about like a Whole30 challenge and just punishment for wanting to eat oatmeal and then having to go back to day one. Plus recipes, grocery lists, and meal ideas to take the thought out of it and help make transitioning to real food just fun and enjoyable and delicious and easy. Guidance and rewiring the brain-gut connection and healing the issues in your tissues. And a client-tested 3-step method for healing that's been used for almost 10 years now in clinical practice, in my clinical practice, that is. And then thoughtfully developed programming just by a clinician like myself with 25 years of clinical and personal experience to save you time and money. Just thinking about like all those years that I spent just doing all the things and not getting anywhere, as well as just the countless money that was invested in my own just trying to figure out answers, aside from just the education and learning it in textbooks, like learning it from real lived experience. And then just one-stop shop. Like, I'm all about that. And just I practice functional medicine, nutrition, coaching. I have a therapy background as well. And then fitness, and all in one place, and kind of helping you take the thought out of having to piecemeal your team together. All about feeling good made simple. But I hear you. It sounds great, but you've been burned before. Well, this is why when I work with my patients and my programs, I really believe in what I'm doing, and I've seen the results for so many individuals over the years that I do provide a money-back guarantee. So if over the course of your work with us at our clinic, if you do not see significant change results and you've followed the process that we've laid out for you, we have a money-back guarantee for you. Functional medicine is expensive. Get it? So what compared to what? You're comparing apples to oranges. Functional medicine is high-touch, customized care compared to like sitting in a waiting room for, say, 20, 30 minutes to see a doctor for 10 to 15 and being prescribed something, or again, just seeing one individual that's not able to look at all the root causes or provide a comprehensive approach to your care. It's kind of like on the expense things, like expense is what we value, like point here. So what if I told you I'm selling a 2022 Porsche for $10,000? That's pretty cheap. And so just knowing like what we value is all in the eye of the beholder. And I believe 100% in your value. And so I would hope that you do as well. And I'm not selling a $10,000 Porsche for you. Being well takes so much time and energy, of which I have none. Well, do you eat, sleep, and poop? You have time. My methodologies are designed to work with your lifestyle and really help you optimize these things too, eating, sleeping, and pooping. The best part is you don't need to have it all figured out, like none of it figured out. That's what this call is for, where we will help you gain clarity on what to do next. So the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting different results, which is why I encourage you to take action now and click the button below to apply. What you need to know before we hop on a call, only if you like transformation and impact, is I'm ecstatic to speak with you, but in order to make the most out of our time, please do these 3 things before we talk. Number 1, show up to the call. It's really hard to identify where you're at and give you the right steps moving forward so you can move the needle forward if we don't actually speak to you. If you haven't noticed yet, maximizing time is my number 1 priority, just because I want things for you to happen fast. I respect other people's time, and I expect other people to do the same for me and my team. Please be sure to show up on time and ready when we reach out to speak with you. We use your application to prepare a report beforehand, and all that time is wasted when we don't get to speak with you. If you miss your call without letting us know, we will cancel your appointment and you will not be allowed to reschedule. You'll have plenty of opportunities to reschedule in case something comes up before, but just ghosting us will result in your name being put on our do not call list. I know that won't happen though, because you're hungry for growth, you understand the golden rule, and you want to write a new story in your health journey so you can finally feel good and have more impact. Step number 2 is just being prepared for the call. So I know you have a lot going on. Trust me, so do we. But there's a reason you scheduled this call, and so we need to make sure you're able to find that reason and deliver what you're coming on to find out. Make sure to think about your top 3 goals you'd love for your life and health before we meet, and be in a quiet, focused area where you won't be bothered for 30 minutes. Driving, walking your dog, feeding your kids dinner, taking a shower will not allow you to totally focus on yourself and the transformation about to unfold. Also, come prepared. Have questions, get a pen and paper, and get focused. Don't be afraid of us would be step number 3. We aren't going to bite. Some people, even me, are afraid to find out what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. In case you haven't noticed, we like to have fun. Although the advice we will give will be serious, we won't be trying to hard sell you or intimidate you. We'll be listening to you, explain your current situation, give real actionable advice, and if it makes sense, tell you how all those people you saw with success first started working with us. Show up to your call, do some homework, and be ready to have some fun. Talk to you soon.